King Productions presents the BearDown Corner with your host, Sergeant Cornholio. Hey everybody, Sergeant Cornholio here. Welcome in for another week's episode's edition of the BearDown Corner. Alright, we're going to dive right into it. We just got some, simpler stories this week. Still a slower off-season period right now, so we're digging and scratching for what we can find. So let's get you caught up and updated in this week's NFL news. Alright, so let's go with Max Crosby's story first. Nothing major, just the man who is a $35 million defensive end is back. And he says he is feeling good. He is feeling 100%. He's on the field in OTA, early work stuff. He's liking it. He's liking the energy in the building. He likes Pete Carroll. He likes what they've done this offseason. He feels renewed in a way. This is his third head coach since coming in the league in 2019. And what can we say? It's the Las Vegas Raiders. They're turbulent. They're up and down all over the place, right? Like, they haven't had continuity since the 80s, for God's sake. Maybe some 90s, but they're trying to turn a page. And it might be a bit of a quick page, as they had a lot of holes to fill this offseason, namely at quarterback, where they had no idea who they were going to have. So what do? They go get Geno Smith. All right, well, they bring in Pete Carroll. That's the combo ticket right there, right? Geno was in Seattle with Mr. Pete Carroll when he first became a starting quarterback in the league. So from there's hope for Max Crosby and this team. So the fact that he's feeling he is at 100%, like, best feeling on the planet as he returns from ankle injury. The best feeling on the planet, that's what he said to the reporters as they asked him, how's it feeling, Max? It's the best in the world, baby. This man is a dominant top 5 defensive end in the league. He can change the tune of a game. If the game is close, he can make that play you need and turn that into a win for your team. So that's exciting news if I'm a Raiders fan. And I have a bit of a soft spot for the Raiders. I do. I like the Raiders. They just the logo. It's just something about their heritage, their legacy. It's intriguing. I like it. Other players coming back from injury. So Javonte Williams, and I bring this up. So Cowboys fans, here's a little take on this one. Javonte Williams, he, had reporters asking him, how's it going? How you feeling? Welcome into Dallas, so forth, right? He says he's feeling also 100%. This man suffered an ACL, LCL, and a posterior lateral corner tear back in 2022. Okay? He hasn't been the same yet since. He's been averaging 3.7 yards per carry. He's 4.4 and 4.3 prior to injury. Okay, this guy can give some force and push back to gain those extra yards. All right, Javonte Williams isn't necessarily a washed up player. I know I might have sounded like that in previous podcasts. He's not completely washed up by any means. He's only a 25-year-old running back with injury history. So, he probably got treated a little more like we're going to focus more on running back by committee in Denver prior to, going to the Cowboys, who Rico Dowell's gone. I don't think there's much juice left in the Ezekiel Elliott tank. Like, he'll be a backup in the running back. But really, I think this is Javonte Williams running back number 1 slot to win. If he can be 100%, give a team 4.4 average, well, shit, I'd take a 4.4 average rushing running back any day of the week. Like, that's first down yardage on just run plays alone. So that'll be interesting to see how that actually plays out. If he's feeling as good as he is, I would keep an early look on him at the beginning of the season. See how well he fits with Mr. Head Coach over there, Brian Schottenheimer's system. I'm still baffled by that hiring, but you know what? Only time will tell. Lions defensive end Aiden Hutchinson, another man who I'm surprised he's saying he's been fully cleared, and he says he feels, like 100%, but it'll be interesting to see how he comes back from a fractured tibia and fibula from last year. That's a big ask to be at full top throttle percentage on that. That's a bit of a freaking injury right there. But hey, if the man is built like a beast, he's probably going to be just fine. All right, Giants rookie quarterback Jackson Dart will not be buying the number 2 number from his current teammate. Now, funny thing about it is he already got paid by Russell Wilson to take his number 3. This is the guy who was trying to sell number 2. So he already sold his number 3 to Russell Wilson when he signed. Goes and picks number 2. Probably didn't think anything of it, but now you get the rookie coming in wanting the number 2, right? But it's like he wanted too much money, which, you know what? I don't blame him. At that point, the guy's probably just trying to make a quick buck. He might not be on the roster by after training camp, but hey, you never know. Colts owner, yeah, this one caught me a little bit. So, Jim Irsay, big mental health awareness for men. Started a huge campaign back in 2020. He's done so much for the Indianapolis community, and he's been there since the inception. He's been there for his entire life. The man became the general manager of the Colts back in 1984 at the age of 24. At the time, the youngest GM in history. He got his feet wet early on, right? His dad passed in the mid-90s. He took over the team. What do they do from there? Well, couple turbulent seasons. They go and draft Peyton Manning, right? Then the golden years go on. They win the Super Bowl over my Bears. Nonetheless, I tell you, that was a heartbreaking Super Bowl loss. But overall, Jim Irsay might not have always been liked, but no one is. But he was a pillar of NFL owners of just giving back to what was being given, right? So, condolences out to him and his family. Passes at the age of 65. He was battling bad chronic breathing for years, though. For years. Just never got it fixed, though. Son of a bitch. All right. Moving along. The tush push. Yes, the tush push stays. That is right. The tush push is staying for at least next season. The Green Bay Packers made the proposal. It was backed by a couple other teams, but not enough support and not enough evidence to state, hey, we're just doing a, more grittier version of the quarterback sneak. The difference being, we have a guy that can squat 600 pounds. We have another guy that can squat another 600 pounds. All our dudes train to execute this play. So unless you're going to bring a goddamn bulldozer in behind them, I don't know how you're going to figure out to stop it. But it's not because they're doing anything that you can't do. They're just stronger. There's no argument for it. It might cause a freaking injury, but it's no lesser of a guy getting hit on a goddamn catching play midfield as the DB's coming across to smoke the shit out of him. In fact, that one probably hurts more than just diving into a pile of dudes' asses. Get fucking real, Green Bay. Jesus, Murphy. It's that kind of stupidity. Just because they outmaneuvered and beat your ass, to move on, you have to go and try and, gain a little sympathy from the rest of the league owners and try to eliminate a play that is effective as hell. But as it should be when you put that much hard work into the goddamn thing. Oh, Mr. Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers news. All I got for you today, folks, is he's not a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point in time of this recording anyway. But the man, He's just taking his time. And as he should. You know what? He's a 42-year-old, 41, whatever. He's early 40, future Hall of Fame quarterback. Terrorized my team for years. Had a brutal injury his first year in the Jets. Honestly, I think things could have been a lot different that year for them. But turned out different in the end. They had, not such a great year last year. But it's not to say he can't go out there and he's not going to be like Aaron Rodgers of old. But he will still be Aaron Rodgers that can give the Steelers a fighting competitive chance to maybe even win a few more playoff games. I'm not saying Super Bowl, but win a few more playoff games. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? They could strike a miracle run. It's happened in the past. Look at the New York Giants of 2007. Right? Hell, they did it in 2011 too. The Steelers of 2005 even. Like, these are teams that went on magical runs out, like even Baltimore in 2012. These are teams that no one really expected, but they just did it. Hell, even Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers did it in 2010. These stories happen all the time. All the time. So who's to say it can't be your team, right? Yeah, so far, the question about him, though, from where we were starting with that, was very easily this. Would he retire a Green Bay Packer? Well, more or less at some point, he's probably going to sign some kind of contract, but his answer came off to me a little differently, other than how he was maybe trying to perceive it. I personally think there's still some bad blood there with him and the Packers and how they handled the whole Jordan Love shit and all that, because, like, the man, like, you had to prepare for the future at some point. I get that, Green Bay. I do. But I think Rodgers was blindsided by it because he was never he's even said in interviews before, if they would have approached him and said, hey, we know you're having your good seasons and all that still, like, you're still putting up numbers, we're having some struggles here, there, whatever, but overall, like, we're still performing, but we want to build and garner the next guy like we did you. Okay, that's Green Bay's motto. They did it with Rodgers. They did it with, well, actually, Favre just kind of came in and did his thing, but then they groomed the shit out of Rodgers with him. And then look what he did. And then they groomed Jordan Love, and, well, he's probably going to still be a top quarterback in the league. Or he could get injured too. Who knows? Either way, I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is quite done yet. He'll probably be back. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's going to join the Steelers. He'll probably retire Packers someday in the future, whenever that is, but probably not right away because he's still pissed. That's my take on it anyway. He just basically went into the whole description of, like, I never really understood why he signed the one-day contract, blah, 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 all that kind of garbage, right? Like, you have guys that played for multiple teams. Jerry Rice played for multiple teams after he went from the Niners, right? You have legends that go to teams all the time. But I don't think it's going to be right away the day he retires, he's going to sign and retire as a Green Bay Packer. If he does, they mend it up. But I think there's still bad blood there. And to finish it off, we got the playoff seeding will remain the same for the current upcoming 2025 season. It was a proposal by the Detroit Lions this recent season in the league votes. They withdrew the proposal, though, because there just wasn't enough garnered interest, apparently. And I could probably tell you why. I have a pretty damn good guess anyway. I feel that based on some of the divisions and how often and how easy it is for them to turn and switch from year to year, those teams don't want to lose that home revenue playoff that you get from your playoff game. That home playoff game. That revenue generated from that one game alone is enough to make the fucking satisfied owner be like, yep, good job, team. They always want a Super Bowl, but at the end of the day, if you get a home playoff game because you won your division, I think that the mantra, the system is broken, but it benefits too many people to fix it. That's why I don't think it will probably ever get fixed. If it does, then hallelujah. But I don't think playoff reseeding is ever going to get fixed. And it's because certain divisions, if you're in the AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs and that bullshit, I'm sure you're like, screw this. We deserve a home playoff game against Houston and shit like that, right? The Chargers last year had a better record than Houston, right? Multiple teams had better records than their opposing teams last year. Hell, Minnesota was 14-3 as a wild card, for Christ's sake. It's astronomical how teams can have such a high win percentage, let's just say, in this context, right? And not garner that game. I know that it might be because you're in a division where it's like, well, NFC North, for instance, right? 15-2 Detroit Lions, 14-3 freaking Minnesota Vikings, and you had the, what was it, 10-7, or were they 11-6? One of the two, but they still had a better record than Tampa and freaking the other home team. Like, it's wild. It's wild that, you know what, if you win your division, you get an automatic playoff ticket. Okay. I can agree with that. I can agree that if you outbeat all the other 4 teams in your division, yeah, you get a playoff ticket, but it doesn't guarantee you a home field. That's where my problem is. I don't like it. I don't. I think that if you're going to get rewarded for what you paid off for, right? Because there's some divisions in the league year in and year out that are just absolute trash. Hell, we've had teams send losing record teams to the playoffs. We can't have that happen, folks. We want the best of the best out there. Best of the best. A losing record would still get you a playoff spot, but unless they go on some magical run, chances are they're going to get upended by the number 2 seed the next week. Playoff seeding should go based on record. Got your top 4 slots there. You got your playoff. You got your home playoff teams. Bottom 3, they get the wild cards. Division winners, well, they lock in a spot. So if they're below the rest of them, shit out of luck, I guess, right? That's all right, though. But anyway, that's a little bit of the rant for today. Seedings in playoffs, regular season finishes. That'll do it for us today here, though, folks. I'm Sergeant Cornhole. This has been the BearDown Corner. You can catch us live on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and, of course, Amazon Music with YouTube, always available. Every week, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, General Mountain Time, a.m. Be safe. Take care. We'll catch you guys next week. Have a great one.